So setting up Agent Flight Pro is pretty easy. You'll have it switched on by the sales and support team, and it only comes when you have both the Agent Flight and the agency reporter toolset switched on for your particular agency. Brings together those two concepts of performance versus experience. So from your flight control, from the top here when you log in, or just by clicking on flight control, you go to Pro Settings. That'll be there. If you don't have the product switched on, you won't see it, so contact our sales and support team. We'll be able to help you. Click on the Pro Settings, and from within that area you can set up a number of different concepts or settings within your Agent Flight Pro setup. So for the automated space, you can say use instead of standard reports. That is, use the Agent Flight Pro when you are CRM integrated and also from the dashboard. It'll automatically be selected to use the Pro when you've got this ticked here in your settings. Include CMA data by default for automation and from the desktop or from the dashboard. Include sales count and reports by default. Show estimated days on market by default. Show listed versus sold calculation by default. And that's when you come out on top, or at least it's favorable, they'll be selected. Then you have include suburb reports, include postcode reports, and then it has the graph colors. So you can change your graph colors. A lot of the time it's important to have independence within your reporting, so where you come from a third-party independent report, so you keep it with our colors, but some agencies like to change that. Include patch report. So where your company has set up a number of different operating patches for your local area geographically, which are mapped a little bit like this, you then are able to have market share delivered to this business case or this pitch document from those patches that are set up where the property sits within that patch. So if you've got 5 patches that overlap that property, then you'll have 5 patches to choose from in terms of market share. Include thresholds. So if your company has set up a threshold where you say give me market share above $1 million or below $1 million, that's what will be included there on top of each geographical area you've ticked, so patch, postcode, and suburb. So we'll run those calculations as well. So when you've got automation with CRM set up, you'll have what the priority is to choose from. So patch, suburb, and postcode is the default, but you can switch those around via that drop box and include 1, 2, or 3 market share reports in the Pro setting for automation. So when you've got it integrated with CRM, we'll choose 3 for you, or by default we'll select 3 when you're doing the manual run. Then you have all these choices that you have within your agency reporter tool set, which are now applied to your Agent Flight Pro, which is include patch map at the front of the report, include year to date as a bar chart, include last 12 months as a bar chart, last 12 months trend line, and you've got all these sections here where you can say include collated others. A lot of the time it's good to untick that because the collated others number is usually fairly high compared to a standalone agency number. So where you've got 10 other agencies and all their different sales collated as one, it can make them the largest bar in the bar chart. So it's often important just to untick those. How many do you want in the total report? So we've got 10. If they're available to have 10. Trend line, include collated others, you can have switched on if you want, or untick it. How many in the trend line do you want? Last month bar chart, last 3 quarters, last 3 quarters sold percentage, last calendar year first half and second half, and all the options that sit next to that, like collated others and how many you'd like in there. So when you run a business case from your dashboard, so you go into review or add, and once you've added, you can click on dashboard like this one here, and then from there what you can do is go into the Agent Flight manually run, which is this one here. When you run that, and there's another video introducing that run, but effectively you go through, select all the options. This is your performance business case that you're used to running out of Agent Flight, which is already there's a different video which explains that. So what you then find is that all those settings will be applied to the exhaustive amount of reports that we ran. So you can see here I've got 144 different ways in which we're able to find market share data that we can present, and then we've ranked them from first place down. There are different types like suburb, postcode, and patch, and you can filter those. So if you only want patch or postcode, you can filter it back in, and bar, pie, or trend reports that you can filter by. And so you can go in there and say, well, I want Q4 2015, and that's less than $1 million, and you go in there and you say, well, I'll give that, you want the total amount for that patch. Or you want to go in here and say, well, I want the trend report like this, and I want this trend report here like this, and then at the end you can just basically swing to the bottom and go next, which will then produce the area which you can do the report, and you click download. So once that's downloaded, you can open it and have a look, and the custom report looks a bit like this. So you get your map, which is the patch you're talking about, and if the property sits within there, you can say, well, there's your property there, and this is how we operate in this area. You can then talk about the market share for the sales year to date, or whatever it is, the one that you chose. You can talk about how you operate across the area in terms of trend. There's a whole lot of different ways you can present yourself, and we do all the heavy lifting there. So we find all of the different ways in which you can present yourself in terms of market share and also performance, and we find the best ones for you that can be done automatically. All that heavy lifting's taken out. You really get a very smart way to go to market, and then you get all your performance stuff. So past performance is your Agent Flight software kicking in now, and the grid that shows dollar or value in pocket at the end of all of that, and then all the data that sits behind it. You can then talk about each property. So there's a very quick and automated way to go to market and get your market CMA automated straight away from an independent body. Enables you to stand out from other agents. And that's Agent Flight Pro settings and how it works.